Hello and welcome back to the Coaches Show here on 90.1 KBPK. My name is Ryan Osborne, and what you're looking at is what, in effect, was the conference championship between Fullerton and Golden West on Saturday. A defensive battle between both sides that forced 5 fumbles in between each team, 2 of them being recovered by defenses, one by Golden West, one by Fullerton College. You see Cody Saval forcing a fumble there, but the Hornets jump on top of it. No score going into the later stages of the second quarter. Cypress ends up lining up for a kick and is able to nail it from just outside the 25-yard line to give the first lead of the day to Golden West College over top of Fullerton. It made it a 3-0 game, and both teams were having a lot of trouble getting offense going, shown to you by this. When you try and look at that Golden West offense usually clicking in on all cylinders, they got themselves inside the 25 and have a kick blocked. Cypress is normally money inside the 20-yard line, but the special teams for Fullerton all day was fantastic against Golden West College. So they get the block there, and with under 3 minutes to play in the second quarter, Fullerton College marched themselves downfield. So they weren't able to get into the end zone. Inside the 15 they go, so they'd have an opportunity to kick it, get themselves at least a tie with the Rustlers. Velasquez sees that one go back, puts a right boot into it, and pushes it wide left. That's right, with 44.3 seconds left on the clock in the second quarter of play, well, it was still a 3-0 ball game between Fullerton and Golden West. But as you enter the third quarter of play, that's when things kind of changed. The offense for Fullerton, running game, not necessarily there as much as they would have liked. But in the air, Galban was much better. 150 yards of total offense entering the third quarter. They opened up the playbook a little bit more in that third as well, and it got them the opportunity to get more yardage. So they move themselves, as you see there, inside the 20-yard line in the red zone, and they have the opportunity to score. Braden Hoffman had been the receiver of choice all afternoon long for Galban, and it led to him getting into a rhythm. Up to this drive in the third, Hoffman had about 60 yards receiving, but had 8 receptions and continually got really needed first downs. Galban inside the 20, closer to the 15-yard line, with Rankins to his right, well, he would prove to be money. 1-step, 2-step drop. He finds none other than Braden Hoffman across the middle, and Hoffman makes the catch, gives Fullerton that so crucial 7-3 lead. And it was the type of afternoon where you felt the first team to get into the end zone, the opponent wouldn't even be able to repeat that process. So Fullerton took a 7-0 lead, but all of a sudden, in the beginning of the fourth quarter, Golden West finally got their offense going. After a long, lengthy drive inside the 5-yard line, it would be Mike Carrillo who gets the handoff initially, and the Rustlers, who had Jake Retzlaff passing for over 400 yards throughout the entirety of the day, couldn't get themselves into the end zone up to this drive. They had a chance inside the 3-yard line. You see it there. Their offense continually stacked by the stout defensive line, by those defensive backs, not able to get themselves what they needed until this pitch play. Carrillo over to the left. Rashawn Haylock jumps up and down inside the booth as he sees the Golden West Rustlers take a 10-7 lead. That's right, just 3 points. Going back to that Jake Cypress field goal, that was the difference between both of them. But it would get even more exciting. You look at the very next kickoff. I'm talking right away after that touchdown. Golden West sees Kashawn Griffin in the backfield looking to receive. Well, we've seen Kashawn, especially in 2019, how well he can do in turning momentum. All he has to get is one block. He gets it there, moves his way upfield, and my goodness, does he have the legs to turn it into a big gain. Finishes with nearly a 70-yard return to give the Hornets a chance. Now, Fullerton would get themselves inside the 5-yard line, all the way down to the 1, and they would have an opportunity to take the lead again. This is with under 5 minutes to play in this ball game. On 4th down, inside the 1.5-yard line, all of a sudden, they get the encroachment penalty. They look back to the sideline. Fullerton's rushing game had about 60 yards to this point, no touchdowns. 4th down, inside the 1-yard line. Golden West had 5 different stops inside the 5-yard line throughout the season. They'd look for another one, and they'd stack them. Cody Savau is the first one who got into the backfield for Golden West College, and it would be a momentum changer as the Rustlers would not allow Fullerton College to get on the board again. The Rustlers trying to put a nail in the coffin. Very next drive, intercepted. Chandler Brown takes away the insurance for Golden West College, and you're looking at it like, well, Fullerton, this is your chance. This is the offense. It's going to go down the field and have the opportunity to get themselves into the end zone or at least tie it up. So they take over on offense. Just a few moments later, we're looking at inside 2.5 minutes to play in this ball game. 10-7 Rustlers and Hornets, each team combining for over 600 yards of total offense to this point. Chandler Galban looks for a teammate, has to be pressured, and he gets taken down. Now, that sack is important. Why? Because Golden West not only leads the state in sacks, they lead it by a 9-sack margin. They are in the 40s this season. Overall, the next closest is 34. They have 43. So, another sack forces Fullerton back. Clock keeps ticking. So, Galban back into the pocket, goes 4 wide. Now, normally this is where we see little screen pass for Fullerton to get them some momentum, but another big pressure play with Elisha Martin, who is possibly up for the Defensive Player of the Year in this conference, gets not only the sack, the fumble, and the safety, and Fullerton College would see Golden West finish with a 12-7 victory as a final. So, the Rustlers with the conference championship, they are going to move on looking like they're going to be in the playoff as well, and Fullerton College will have a matchup coming up this next Saturday against San Diego Mesa. Now, that was the recap of what was in effect the conference championship game between Fullerton and Golden West. Golden West 12, the Hornets 7. That was a final there. Now, speaking of the Hornets, we're kind of introducing some new things here on the Coaches Show. And one of the biggest things that we want to learn, considering that we're part of the best music, the best variety on 90.1 KBPK, well, we want to talk to these athletes and see what exactly are their music tastes? What are they interested in? Let's get that music going, flowing into sports as well. And actually, we've got someone over at Sherbeck Field to talk to one of our Fullerton College Hornets about his music taste. So, Avi, take it.
Hello, my name is Avi Block, and I am here with 90.1 KBPK. This is number 47, Remy Holden. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing good. We're going to talk to you about your favorite music, just all that jazz. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
So, describe your music taste to me.
I'd say my music taste is pretty all over the place. I really just like anything that makes me feel good. I'm not really have any genre that I like or don't like. If it sounds good to me, then I'm gonna listen to it.
Are there any bands that you've recently been listening to?
I'd say band-wise, I've been listening to a lot of Interwave, which is, I believe, an alternative rock band. I went to their concert a couple years ago, and that's really like the only band I've been listening to since. I really like them. Don't listen to too many bands, more like artists.
All right, such as?
I like Playboy Cardi,
okay.
Trippie Redd, D Savage, a lot of different types of rappers. Young Nudie a lot recently, and then on the softer side, like the Frank Oceans, the Tyler the Creators, different R&B artists like that as well.
Was there anyone or was there something in particular that influenced your taste in music?
Not really. I would say growing up, I kind of developed my own taste in music, but I do steal a lot of my music from my friends. They have better music taste than me, so I steal from them.
Oh, okay. So they're into similar stuff, and you just got influence from that.
Mm-hmm. They do the digging up, finding the music most people don't listen to or don't know about. So then I can steal it from them and play it for my friends, and they, oh, whoa, who is this? I've never heard this before. And then I explained to him, oh, my friend showed me this and this, and so that's what I like to listen to.
All right. Do you have a best concert memory, if you have been to any?
So I've only gone to one concert, and it was the Interwave concert.
Right.
And I think the best memory from it was starting the mosh pit with some random person. He just looked at me and he says, "You guys ready to mosh?" And I said, "Hell yeah!" And we started pushing each other around and pushing everyone, and then the mosh pit started, and that was going on for the entire concert.
Oh,
so
yeah, moshing is so much fun.
Felt cool to feel like I was the one who started it. So there's that.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
So we want to thank Avi Block for giving us a little bit of an extra view into what the athletes like and prefer musically here on 90.1 KBPK. Check out our online webpage at kbpk.org to take a look at some of the programs we have going on, or go to that top right corner and go to YouTube. Our YouTube page where you are at right here has a lot of content that we have coming up, in addition to some of the live shows and Veterans Day specials that we have featured as well. Now, we're going to send it over to the pool and Colleen Riley Court, where we have Gabriel Martinez, head coach Megan Tomicic, in addition to Faith Webb and Hannah Tobin at sophomore night here on The Coaches Show. We are here with head coach Gabriel Martinez of the women's water polo team here at Fullerton College. And Coach Martinez, you know, when you look at this last tournament that you guys were in, how would you assess your team?
Our first game was regionals, or Southern California regionals, and our first game was against Riverside. And Riverside, they played really, really well. And our girls, I think they went into the game confident and that they could beat them. And Riverside played well, and we just played better than them. Against OCC, which is another conference rival, it's a team that we've beaten all season, and they came out on us 3-0, and we had to reassess and remember what our priorities were and what our strengths were. And once we did that, we took control of the game, and we're up 8-4 going into the fourth, and we were pretty comfortable with that lead. We were pretty happy with that. And championship game, that was our goal, get to the championship game, because we get to the championship game that qualifies us for the state tournament. So the championship game mattered, but not so much. It mattered more in just gathering information on our opponent more than anything else, and videotaping and being able to come back and break down the video so the girls understand what we need to do, our game plan for states this weekend.
I mean, Coach, when you mentioned that championship game, you go up against Santa Barbara again. What do you find in Santa Barbara that has been so tough this season?
Well, I think they're very athletic, they're very talented, they work hard, they're in good shape, just like us. They have a good coach who prepares them really, really well. And we knew at the beginning of the season that okay, we're one of the two best teams in the state. And we had to take care of business with our other schools, the OCCs, the Long Beach, the Riversides, those type of schools, make sure that we could beat them every time, because we knew we would face off with Santa Barbara in the end. And now, when we need to win it, I'm very confident that we're going to win it.
And Coach, the last couple times that you've gone up against Santa Barbara, you haven't had one key player in their lineup. But all of a sudden, you look at this championship tournament that's coming up for the state. How do you make sure that you game plan around maybe sometimes not having a star player?
Well, this team in particular, we've been able to sub full roster, so 6 in, 6 out, 6 field players and 6 field players, and goalies too. We have a backup in every position, and then all season we've had adversity, whether it was playing against the 4-year schools or playing against some of our own 2-year schools, and whether one of the girls gets 2 kickouts or 2 personal fouls, and we've had a sub out and someone else has come in and played that role very, very well. So we're very confident that if someone gets in foul trouble, we can come in, someone else can come in and do a really, really good job.
Coach, the first time that we were here this semester, you talked all about the conditioning, making sure that your girls are able to swim up and down without hesitation.
Yeah.
Have you seen, or did you see that effect play out towards the end of the OEC season?
Oh, no question. With the style of play that we've had, and it's a grueling type of play for the other teams, our philosophy is make that other team hate to play you, because they know it's going to be a nightmare of getting up and down, a physical game, and it's happened. Our second group has come in every time and put a pounding onto them. So conditioning-wise, getting up and down the pool, making sure that they're running, or swimming in our case, and the other team feels it. So when our starting lineup goes back in, they take a deep breath and say, oh my goodness, here comes our starting group, and our second lineup has done such a good job against their starting lineup that our second lineup, by the second half, we start to pull away, and that's what's happened every year, every game this year.
When you mention that, do you feel that over the last few years it has turned into whichever teams are at the top half of the state rankings or state championships are able to go to their bench and say, hey, there's no real rest time for the opponent?
Oh yeah, I think that there's no question. For the top teams in the state, the bench play is so important. The better the bench play, the better your team's going to be. And our bench team, our girls coming in off the rotations have done a phenomenal job this year.
Coach, when you look at this upcoming matchup that you have, is there one thing that you can actually key in on to make sure that you end up shutting down their offense?
Well, I know for us, everything starts with our defense. So if our defense is doing great, it'll feed right into our offense. It's not vice versa. We may have a bad game offensively, it'll never affect our defense. Our defense will still remain strong and intense, and it'll feed our offense. And we know that as long as we play really good defense, our offense is gonna come along.
How has the transition game for your squad developed from the start of the season till now?
You know, I think that this season we've had different types of injuries or distractions with the team, and the girls have done a really, really good job of adapting to it and moving in. We've had shuffles with our lineup, but within the last, I would say, month and a half, our starting lineup has been intact. They attend practice. They never miss. Our bench play has had its obstacles of girls getting. We have a girl right now that's finishing up her concussion protocol, and she'll be back in the lineup for this weekend's tournament, and she's been out for a while, and that's going to be a big addition to us.
Coach, I mean, just a few moments ago, you mentioned your girls having that work ethic, having the ability to be at practice all the time. When you look at these student athletes, one thing that has been a theme across the Coaches Show all season long has been student athletes and the workload that they have to put in. When you look at your athletes under your direction, how have they been able to take their studies and also maintain a work ethic here at the pool?
Well, our students are getting a lot of help from the school, from life guide coaches to the programs that we have on the campus, from them studying together or taking the same classes and making study groups. They've done a really good job of managing their classes, and they know the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is to compete and do well, but move on to the 4 years. So we always remind them that that's what you're here for first, and then the athletics will take care of itself.
Do you ever feel that towards the end of the season, because your teams are consistently top 5 in the state championship, those kind of tournaments, do you ever feel that it gets a little bit tougher for them to be able to balance maybe the student athlete portion of it along with being at that top level competition?
I would say yes, but at the same time, with the help of the college and the different programs that the college offers a student athlete, I'm not going to say it's easy, but it definitely helps them manage their time and their schedule and prioritize academics. So,
has there been one person that has, or one or two people have turned into leaders this season for your team?
Oh, no question. I think at the beginning of the season, you could see the lack of leadership with our team, and that towards the end, Charlie Jackson's really done a really good job of taking on the leadership role on that team. You guys interviewed her at the beginning of the season, and she's done a phenomenal job of not just being a verbal leader, but being a leader of performance. She doesn't come out of the game. She's in the grind of the game. She's right in the middle of the pool where the centers are at, and she's getting kicked, hit, and transitioning out, and just being an awesome, awesome athlete and carrying a 4.0. So we're very, very proud of her. We're looking forward to see where she moves on.
At the end of the season, when you look back and you see those student athletes, like you mentioned, Charlie, who end up having that workload, they go 4.0, they turn into a leader on your team, they have an excellent in-pool play as well. Does it give you that sense of program pride to see someone develop like that?
Oh, absolutely. I think that Charlie academically has done well her whole life, but when you're at this kind of involvement in a program and competing at this level, sometimes you can get distracted. And she's done a really good job of staying focused with her academics and knowing why she's here, and at the same time putting the time and effort. In the 2 years that she's played here, she's never missed a practice, never left early, never showed up late. She's always on time. She's always been a fantastic leader.
Well, Coach, thank you very much, and best of luck this weekend.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
And we're now joined by Coach Tomicic. And Coach, when you look at this overall season, starting from the preseason until now, how have you seen your team progress?
You know what, one thing that we always say, especially during practice, is just how hard they work, you know, and I think looking at the beginning of season until now, tonight wasn't our best, but I would say even in matches prior to this, I think we've done a great job progressing, improving, getting better at our specific positions. Serving, I know this season we started out a little bit rough serving, and a lot of different aspects of the game, and I think from the beginning till now, we're a different team. So that's always a plus for us.
Coach, when you look at this last matchup against IVC, what is one thing that you feel that you can tune up before possibly your next match?
Oh, man. Like I said, tonight wasn't our full potential. I think just refocusing on that consistency, you know, and mindset. I think that we've always said we have the talent. It's just making sure that we come together and work together and focus on each other. The best athletes have short-term memory, and sometimes we spend a little bit too long focusing on our last mistake or focusing on a point that we didn't get instead of just moving on and focusing on the process instead of the outcome. Because if you can do that, the outcome will come.
Coach, if you...
I have one question. Now, you talked about the progression during the season. Was there a specific turning point? Because we've seen you win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. Was there a specific turning point that made you go on this run you had the last month?
You know, our W against Cyprus was pretty big for us, and I think that kind of allowed us just to kind of regain that confidence, and just, you know, it's been a long 2 years of not having indoor volleyball. So I feel like this season, you see it all throughout our conference. Everyone's beating everybody. At any time, anyone can win. And I think, you know, just kind of working out the kinks and getting back into the indoor game and just figuring out, you know, first time playing together. We, you know, from the start until now, definitely big progression, but I would say after that W against Cyprus, that really, that was a nice turning point for us.
Coach, I mean, you mentioned that W against Cyprus. That's one of the things that when you look at the Orange Empire Conference, they always talk about the OEC beats up on the OEC. Do you feel that that win also gave your players the chance to say, hey, now that we have the win over a big opponent, we know we can beat others?
Definitely. And we've said it all season long, you know, if all of us collectively, you know, play together and, you know, capitalize on our strengths, then we can really beat everybody, beat anyone, you know, but volleyball is 80% mental, and we just got to capitalize on this mindset and coming out here. And we always say, always have an underdog mindset. Doesn't matter if you're up, doesn't matter if you're down. We always have that one thing that we say, Mamba mentality, when we go into a game-like situation.
And speaking of that mentality, you have two sophomores, and the two of you honored, Hannah Tobin and Faith Webb. What type of influence have they had on the team this season?
Great question. Phenomenal leadership. We're really blessed to have their maturity, their leadership. I think they've done a great job. I know I called them out at our last match against Golden West of just playing fearless. I think they go out there and they leave everything on the court. They've really figured out how to be great at the things they're in control of. You see them always talking, always bringing all this energy, all this spirit, and it's really rare to see them down on themselves. And when you figure that out, especially as a volleyball player, you only can progress and you can only continue to go up from there. And that's something that we emphasize and talk a lot about.
Is there someone this season that you looked at before the year and you said, okay, I would like for them to step up in terms of off-the-court leadership that turned into that person that everyone else on the team could look to?
Definitely, I think one of the toughest things, you know, we have a roster of 18 players and only six get to play. And even in the locker room tonight before the match, I've told them we've been so blessed as a coaching staff just to have great attitudes on this team. You know, every single day it would be really easy. You know, you're not seeing that playing time that you want, and you come in and you have a bad attitude, you don't work as hard, and then now you're not challenging our starting six, but that never was the case for us this season. I think Naya and even Lexi Zander, who came in, in. They're not always in. You know, sometimes we run a 5-1, sometimes we run a 6-2, depending on what we need and maybe who's on leading up to the match. And I think that they've kept a consistent mindset all season of just, you know, I'm going to do whatever I can and whatever's best for the team. And their leadership in practice has been huge for us.
Has there been a point this season where you looked at your sophomores and said, wow, compared to where you guys were when you entered the program, compared to now, you're an overall world-class citizen in our society rather than just a volleyball player?
Oh man, that is something actually that we talk about all the time. You nailed it. For me, actually, as a coach, that's way more important than volleyball. One thing that I always say, volleyball ends one day, and now what are you taking with you after all these years and time that you've put into this sport? My husband and I always talk about it too, because yes, our job is to get them better on the court as a volleyball player, but of equal importance and maybe even more importance is making sure and instilling in them to be a good person. And that's something that we talk about and we teach every single day at practice, of just, you know, being on time, holding each other accountable, being a great teammate, being a leader. We enforce a lot of talking during practice. Before every practice, we start with a question of the day to help them just kind of talk, you know, in front of each other and just as allowing us to just have different conversations other than volleyball, which I think is really, really important. And one thing tonight that I told all of them is just I'm so proud of them because I've seen them. Some of them actually I've had for 6 years because they played club volleyball for us. So I've just seen some of them either 6 years, 3 years, whatever it is, just from the start of being at Fullerton College until now. And they've just become incredible young women, both on and off the court. So couldn't be more proud.
Thank you very much, Coach. We appreciate you joining us on the air today.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us, and thank you for broadcasting. We really appreciate all the live streams as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Coach. So that was head coach Megan Tomicic. We're going to have Faith Webb coming up here in just a couple of moments here on sophomore night for Fullerton College, 90.1 KBPK. So we are being joined by Faith Webb. Faith, when you look at your sophomore season here at Fullerton College, what was the biggest difference for you mentally going from freshman to sophomore?
I think the biggest difference mentally was just having the mindset that this could be my last year, and just like having the mindset of it's such a short season that it goes by so fast, so play your heart out, you know. And I feel like I did that from the beginning of the season to the last.
And I was going to say, and having that, sorry about that, having that year off, did it make you more hungry to come out and show that you're one of the best players in conference and in the state of California?
Oh yeah, 100%. The year off, it wasn't really a year off. If anything, it was something needed. I was in the gym every day, just like striving to be better, and just like you said, just hungry to get back into the gym.
Okay. When you mentioned that, a lot of athletes, not only in the state of California, but across the world, kind of looked at the break and said, oh, cool, a break. Okay, I get to relax for a little bit. Was that different than what your mindset was over the COVID break?
Oh, yeah, 100%. I knew right when COVID hit that it was either going to be my last, like, you know, hurrah, like I'm never going to play volleyball again, or change my mindset and just think, like, I can come back even stronger, even better, while everybody else is slacking off. So.
And what's been the best part about this particular season?
Oh my gosh, it's so hard, you know. I think probably the best part is just the family. Honestly, my team is such a family. The connections that I've built with every single player, it's definitely not just for a season. It's definitely going to be a lifelong friendship. So,
when you look at your fellow sophomores, what is one memory that you can take away from this season?
Probably just. Dang, there's so many.
The name a few. Just
I know.
That doesn't have to be just one.
Yeah. Well, we all had a Friendsgiving, just the sophomores, you know, our last hurrah. So that's probably going to be my favorite memory altogether.
Okay, and after a loss like this tonight, you're going to the playoffs. How do you refocus for that next playoff match?
I think it just starts in practice, going back to the basics, and I don't think we played bad this game. I think there's just like a little unforced errors here and there that cost us the game. So just coming into the gym ready for playoffs, getting our mindset right, and just getting hungry for the next game.
Okay.
Faith, coming up in here in just a moment, we're going to have Hannah Tobin on the air. What is one thing that you can talk about your teammate, Hannah Tobin, in the time that you played with her here at Fullerton College?
Total beast. Honestly, just a beast on and off the court. Probably the best teammate I've ever had. Just the first one to pick you up right when you're coming down. Great player all around. No matter where the ball is, she's diving, her whole body laying out for it. Just a total beast, man. I love her.
Well, thank you very much, Faith. Congratulations on your sophomore night.
Thank
and we
you.
look forward to you playing in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So that was Faith Webb, as we're getting set to be joined by Hannah Tobin here in just a couple of moments. Here you go, Hannah. Thank you. You're welcome. So we're here on 90.1 KBPK, joined by Hannah Tobin. And Hannah, we were talking to your fellow teammate, also your coach, about sophomore night and how special it can be. When you look at sophomore night for Fullerton College, what emotions does it bring up for you?
It just brings up so many emotions. These girls are literally my best friends. Since COVID, you know, we've been here for 3 years. Every morning we wake up, we see each other. Our coaches we see for 3 hours every day. You really build a special connection with all the teammates. And I know, like, they are my everything. So playing today was, like, really great. Just playing for each other. Even though it wasn't the outcome we wanted, I think overall just this moment was so special.
And you've had a pretty storied career here in your 3 years at Fullerton. Are there anything that on the court that really, you know, come out to you as a special event?
I just love playing. Like, I fell in love with it. Megan actually recruited me through her club, and I was obsessed ever since. Playing, diving, going all out for every ball. It's what I live for. Like, it's addicting.
Mm-hmm.
When you mention that, I mean, you look at the position of libero, it has so many different skill sets that people don't realize. When you look at how you had to tone your skill sets, what was the most challenging thing for you at the college level?
Oh, there was a lot. I think I grew a lot as a player since last year. I've always had pretty decent skills. I only started playing my freshman year of high school. Well, many girls started when they were 4, so I know I had to catch up. But my skill wasn't the issue. I know I struggled mentally a lot. It's a very mental position. You're expected, the only thing you do is pass. You're expected to get a perfect pass every time. And that's what I struggled with a lot last year, is the confidence in my skill. But this year, I just come in, again, it's my teammate. They hype me up, and I just, like, want to play for them. And so I feel like defense, I got faster, especially playing on beach, and then my serve receive. It's just all about confidence. It's like 85% mental, serve receive.
Okay, and so you talk about that confidence. Is there anything specific that you did personally to build that confidence?
Yeah, a couple things. Like, I know our coaches talked about before games, like visualizing, which is like just going, closing your eyes, like just visualizing you doing great things, like you passing a perfect ball, not expecting something bad, but expecting that, just having the confidence that you are wearing the jersey for a reason. You are the best passer on the team, and you just got to show it.
Okay.
Yeah.
A few moments ago, we had Faith Webb here on the air. What would you say about your teammate who has been with you for the last few seasons in Faith Webb?
Oh, Faith. Oh, I love her to death. She's honestly my rock. Means so much to me. I look up to her in so many ways. In volleyball, she's a beast. You see, like, she goes for everything. She's an all-around player. She's 5-something and acts like she's 6'4". Yeah, she's just such, and then off the court, we're like best friends. So really, volleyball has made that connection for us. And I'm just always rooting for her, always looking up to her, and I love her.
And I've got one more. Now, what should the audience or the fans know about you, or what do you want to give out to our audience and fans that they might not know about you, or that you want to, give a shout out to?
Oh, that's a good one. One thing you might not know about me is I actually, this is a fun fact that actually no one knows about me.
Okay.
I actually played violin when I was growing up, since I was 3. And I played in the Orange County Philharmonic. And so sports wasn't my thing. I was actually pretty bad. My parents put me in sports when I was young. Basketball, I was awful. Soccer, everything. And then volleyball, my freshman year I started playing. I made the Frosh team, and then I jumped up my sophomore year to varsity. So, little fun fact.
Cool, cool.
Well, thank you very much, Hannah. We appreciate you joining us. Congratulations on sophomore night, and we look forward to your play in the future.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Hannah.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
You.
So that was Hannah Tobin, Faith Webb, and Coach Megan Tomicic. So we're going to wrap things up here on 90.1 KBPK. Don't forget to keep on this YouTube page here on 90.1 KBPK, so we have more coming up. For Mark Pavlovich, Corey Nayland, I am Ryan Osborne, thanking you for joining us. You've been